Hey everyone, it's Fitz with your Power Talk following Monday's Kansas State football press conference after K-State beats Kansas in the Sunflower Showdown. I said it, Sunflower Showdown. 29-27. A nail-biter of a game, but they got the W. And when you look back over the course of this season, that's all that will matter. K-State got the win as they continue their weekly progression towards trying to earn a spot in the Big 12 title game at the end of the season. And it's going to require 4 more victories. That's right, the season is 2/3 done. The Big 12 season is more than halfway done now. They're down to 4 games, 2 on the road, 2 at home. And the 2 at home are in the middle of the 2 on the road. We've got to Houston this weekend. I go, Brian Gilbert's going, and the Kansas State Wildcats are going to take on the Cougars that beat Utah last Saturday in a game that won't be recalled as one of the greats of college football history. But Houston won. In fact, Houston's got a couple wins in the Big 12, putting them ahead of KU, Oklahoma State, and others that we probably thought would be ahead of the Cougars at this point. Chris Klieman talked today about what a great coach Willie Fitz is, and he really is. What he's facing, though, this season now is finding a way to win without a really solid quarterback that can be counted on game in and game out. They've just had issues at quarterback, and we kind of expected that to happen maybe. I wasn't sold on Donovan Smith being the dude, and he's not the dude as they've gone to the youth route right now. But this is an enormous game for K-State because this closes the chapter of this 4-5 chapter book on this segment of games. Chris Klieman mentioned it before that they had 5 games to open the year and then an off week. Now they have had 4 games, 3 of which are on the road, concluding with Houston. The only one at home being, of course, Kansas. And then another off week, and then they'll finish with 3 games, playing Arizona State, Cincinnati at home before going to Iowa State to conclude the season. 3 regular season chapters. Of course, K-State would like to have the 4th chapter of the Big 12 championship, and then whatever comes after that in the 5th chapter, whether it's a bowl game or the playoffs. But this is a big game because if they can close out this portion of the schedule, going 4-0 in this chapter, this second segment of 3 segments of the regular season, will be absolutely enormous for K-State football. Because then they'll come home and not only have a week off to heal, but 2 weeks in front of their home crowd. And we know K-State thrives on its home crowd. Let's be honest. I'm not sure K-State wins that game without its crowd on Saturday. It had an impact on the opponent, and it kept K-State afloat at times when, well, the game got kind of difficult. The home crowd's enormous for the Wildcats. They won't really be facing too stiff of a opponent crowd this weekend at Houston. There'll probably be a lot of purple there. They're having a blackout, which means if you're a Houston fan going to the game, wear black. All 4 of you. That's a cheap shot. They'll have at least 5 fans, and they just don't have a big following. That's the truth about Houston. They're in a huge market, but if they can ever start earning a local following, it could be enormous for the Big 12, but not so far. And Houston will conclude this before they take that week off. Chris Klieman talked about the health of the team. He said they've got some guys who may not make the trip, or they'll find out as they go through the week. Of course, now with Monday press conferences, they really don't have full updates on the injuries when the press conference rolls around, so we're not quite sure what the status is of some of those guys. Chris Klieman says he's healthy, as he had to leave the field a little bit in the 3rd quarter. He was seen drinking lots of Gatorade, we believe, but some kind of electrolyte drink. He said after the game he was getting lightheaded. It's happened before. Now he's afraid maybe he's got some kind of virus, but I'm told he just needs to eat more on game day. You're worse than Coach Snyder, Chris Klieman. You got to eat something. Come on. Get you a protein bar and a banana, for goodness sakes. But K-State is in pretty good shape. Every game, though, is a different test, a different checkup on where you're at. And Kansas State can't look at this game as we're at the end of this segment. It's been brutal. We got to win this. We got to figure out that they just need to go play. They can't have any letdowns, any thoughts that this is an easy one. None of them can be thought of as easy in the conference because the gap can be closed in any given Saturday. It's the magic of the Big 12, and that magic show continues on Saturday for the Wildcats at Houston. We'll see how many K-Staters show up. I'm betting it might be as many as the Houston fans. But I'm looking forward to my first trip, my first game to be covered at Houston's facility. I have been there before because Kansas State at the Texas Bowl had the Houston indoor as their practice facility. And I suffered a flat tire while covering that practice. Let's hope K-State doesn't have a flat tire in Houston. That would make Robert Lipson very upset.